Welcome to the Flood of the Next podcast. My name's Holly. I'm on Gadigal land in Sydney, as is Danny in Tamakimakoto, Auckland. We have Erin, and after a long hiatus, we have got our guest back, Ryan Miller-Woods. He is on Darrell land in the southern part of Sydney. Hello, Ryan. How are you doing? What have you been up to?
Hey everyone. I've been going well. Just, getting into the A-League season, been on accreditation, which has been really enjoyable so far. And yeah, just it's been really good to get back in the swing of that after one of the longest pre-seasons.
Awesome. And you've been photographing women's games, but you also joined us when we played Central Coast Mariners in the stands, which was always fun. So are you mostly photographing, or is your press pass just for women's games, or is it just sort of a choice on what you get up to?
So the press pass in particular with Impetus Women's Football, as it says in the name, is with women's football. So it's like only on the women's football side of things. So like what the pass has in particular is like I'm able to be on the sideline or behind the goal. I'm able to pretty much like access the same areas as like the written media can do, other than they can't necessarily go on the field of play in that regard. So it allows for like really good opportunities to like really up close and getting like really like happy. I'm really happy with the shots I'm able to get. And that kind of access to be that close is, like, I actually can't believe it in that regard. It's like something that you have to like pinch yourself that you're that close in that regard.
Well, if you see Ryan on the sideline, give him a wave. And if you see him in the stands, give him a wave, have a chat. It's good to have you here, Ryan. We're going to chat our women versus Newcastle at Porirua Park. It was a 1-1 draw. None in airs with the goals. Possession was 51 to us, 49 to them. 17 shots on target to 12. 17 shots to 12 on target, 6-3. We had no Madar, no Samba. Our player of the match was Brooke Nunn. 4th minute, she just slips a goal over the line. There is a wonderful assist by Vlock, just wide. Nunn's taking a few touches, just pokes it over the line. The assistant's got her flag up. It's she knows it's gone over. It looked really close on the broadcast. I think Nunn was really good. 23rd minute, Melina Ayres with a penalty. Mac Barry just sort of collides with who was it? I forgot now. She collides with, I think it was Lauren Allen, one of the Newcastle players, just as she's trying to get up, just gets in her way. It's a pen. It's a Melina Ayres with just no hesitation there. I think we did really well in the first half. The second half, or actually since the goal that was scored, we really let Newcastle back into the game, which I think was really unfortunate because there was no need for that. We put up so many shots and so many opportunities, only 6 on target, including the goal that was scored. I really feel like we really need to work on how clinical we are to get the ball into the back of the net, because these are games that we definitely need to win. Why don't we start with you, Ryan? What was your thoughts on the game?
My overall thoughts of the match is that there were certain pieces from Wellington's game that like you can tell that once all the elements come together, that they're going to be a hard team to come up against. But as well, like I think it's just like kind of like early on teething pains of sorts, just like sort of getting like the system that like Bev is probably wanting in that regard out. And again, it's like we're only a couple of games into the season of Wellington. Like if this was like later in the season and the same things were happening, then it'd be, I think, more concerning in that regard. But I feel like there are pieces and elements that show that what Wellington can do currently. But yeah, it's not there just yet.
Danny?
My main feeling, I think, taken away from this game was one of frustration, because we really should have won it. And again, yeah, we sort of, I hear what Ryan's saying, and we thought that last week, and I sort of assumed it was maybe coming in place a bit this week, and we still seem to be, if you like, a work in progress to some extent. I mean, let's be sort of clear, we're missing 3 of our big visa players from this match, so this team is not the team that Bev Priestman would want to put out, or is probably planning to put out. So with Leon, Midak and Samba missing, we're not the team that we should be or could be. And I think it's pretty clear if Samba played that game, we win that game. because we created a lot of chances, and it was poor decision making, or I say poor decision making, the wrong decision making, weaker shots, taking too much time on the ball, all those sort of things that stopped us scoring a few goals. And although the match figures are fairly even, we had about 4 more shots than them. We had 6 shots on target, so they're 3 shots on target. Again, I'd say we were very clearly the better side. I mean, a Newcastle fan might disagree with me, and they'll say, well, it was 1-1 and we had a lot of shots. But, I thought we were in control for a lot of the match, and when we weren't in control, it was basically because we weren't playing very well rather than Newcastle being particularly good. That's what makes it frustrating, because it's fairly clear that I think we can do better, and maybe we get Samba back, maybe get Minnow back if she does get back, or Leon, or maybe it just comes together and we play a bit better. But the season's short. We can't afford to spend too much time waiting to get it together. The off season's long, as Ryan says, but the season itself is really short. So we need to start pulling results out of the bag, and I think that will start with better finishing, better decision making in the final third.
I agree with what Danny said there. I think we did have some moments of brilliance in that game, and I think the moments of brilliance we had were just like a class above anything the Jets managed to put together. I think Pia Block on her first start was phenomenal for someone so young. Very, very good player, and I'm super excited to see how she comes into the team, into the league, and what she can do. And also Brooke Nunn there was just streets ahead, I think, on the field. She was the best player on the park by miles. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we did so many good things in isolation and then just couldn't finish our chances and couldn't actually get a result out of that. I think that's 2 games in a row now where we should have taken all 3 points from both. We should be winning those games. And, I guess it wasn't a loss, but we need points. And I think we need to start getting them soon, because now we're second to last, but we haven't lost a game yet, which is interesting. And yeah, we were playing Jets who had just come off a bye as well. So, it was a good opportunity there to kind of come across a team that's had that break and has had to travel, but instead we didn't quite, get what we needed from it. And I think that, this season so far we've conceded 2 goals from what I'd say 2 player errors, which is kind of promising. I guess it means that, open play goals aren't happening as easily as maybe last season, but also it's still individual errors that we need to kind of work on and focus up and make sure that doesn't happen again, especially now we've started the season with a bunch of home games and we're famously pretty poor on the road. And so if we're wanting to get points, getting them at home is where we need to start from. So we need to start getting wins soon. And it's not going to be easy with our next game as well.
Yeah, I really agree with Brooke Nunn. I thought she was excellent. Just the strength in the tackle and the strength in the challenges that she had playing up front is something that we haven't seen really at Phoenix for a long time. I think Samba has it as well. But, our forwards have always been maybe not that strong, I would say. Maybe, let's say, skillful, not strong. Brooke Nunn just bullocks her way through challenges and people and just gets to that ball and gets it in there. And it was really, really good to see. And I probably would have preferred to see her playing more down the centre rather than out of the wing where she was, but she still managed to, get involved and have a couple of good chances. So it'd be nice to see some more of our other players, showing that kind of strength and, forcefulness when they're playing up front, because she really was very, very good.
Ryan, any more thoughts?
Yeah, a couple here. Yeah, I was really really impressed with Vlok on her starting debut. In that regard, I felt like she really was held her own in that regard. And here's an interesting fact that I actually, when researching, because I was just curious to see, because she's 17 and really young in that regard. I put here, Pia Vlok, having started against Newcastle Jets, made her the second youngest starter for the Wellington Phoenix Women at 17 years, 2 months and 13 days. Only Millie Clegg was younger than Vlok when she started against Western Sydney Wanderers on the 2nd of January 2023 at 17 years, 2 months and 2 days. To put it simply, only 11 days difference. So yeah, and also with Nunn as well. I was really impressed with Nunn, and some of the things that she was doing, it's she is going to be a very, very good signing for Wellington in the long run. Very good.
I think she's already clearly, so far, in terms of what we've produced, she's our best signing. Sam has played one game and she looked good, but she missed the second one. Midag's only played half a game. Leon hasn't played yet. Walker, I think, has been pretty good at the back, unfussy. Don't really notice her much, but nothing really comes down that side. So she's been good, but yeah, Nunn just looks really, she's going to cause a lot of people a lot of problems, and that's great to see. And those two passes that Vlock did to put inside the centre back for her to run onto were just a thing of beauty. I mean, so nice, and it was so good when she did it the first time, and then she did it again. It's like, oh yeah, this is great. More of this, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm so glad that we have Nunn on our team, because I would absolutely hate to play against her. She's an absolute pest and an absolute menace. So I'm so grateful that we have her, because now she's our pest and our menace.
It is always good to have the pest on your side of it. I mean, sometimes it goes a little bit far with people who are pests, but she has definitely been, performance-wise, an excellent pickup. Vlok, I think also, so the discussion that we had in terms of player of the match was either Vlok or Nunn. Vlok made the odd mistake, but then so did everybody else. One of the other talking points is Alyssa Winham went down really badly in the 66th minute. Looks to be in a considerable amount of pain. After some time being seen to by the physio and the doctor, she does come back onto the field, but very quickly sits back down again and has to go off. I don't know how you guys feel about putting a player back on if they're so iffy, especially at this point of the season. Like, maybe if it's the grand final, maybe you risk it, but it's crazy to do that. Apparently she was walking unaided by the end of the game, but that is a big scare for us. I mean, we don't know when we're going to get Macy Fraser back. She's taken a mental health break. Who are we going to sort of have slotted into that 10 or part of that front three? If not, so we're praying that Liz is going to be okay. But yeah, how do you feel about the decision making in terms of like players they want to go back on and they've been told, well, no, you can't go back on? How's the smart way to deal with that? Does anyone have any thoughts?
I think it was incredibly stupid to put her back on. She looked in so much pain when she first did it. I think there's no risk in putting her, there's no point in risking putting her back on just to do more damage. We already have two players out with knee niggles. CJ Bott's still only on 60 minutes because of her concussion. Lucia Leon hasn't seen a game yet. I think it's extremely reckless and extremely dangerous to put her back on when you haven't actually seen the extent of the injury yet. I've seen people do the ACLs and they can stand on it and they can walk on it just because of the adrenaline of the pain. And then I haven't seen them play again in at least 18 months since that. So I think it was a pretty reckless decision.
Yeah, given that what you mentioned before, Holly, I was at the match with Wellington and Central Coast Mem, like, prime example to put him with a Shige. Like, that's the thing, is like, they really shouldn't have risked that then in that regard. And I think the same argument you can put here with Alyssa. It's like, it's just not worth it. Like, if you could be potentially like aggravating more and like adding more time to her being out. It's just not worth the risk. It really is not worth it.
I mean, I'm sure both in Ishiga's case and in Wyndham's case, they were the ones saying, no, I want to go back, I want to carry on. But, at what point do you have to say, no, we can't listen to the player because the player doesn't know what's best for them, because they have an incentive to get back on there. And as you say, Erin, adrenaline can do a lot of things and overcome a lot of pain when it can be damaged. So it's a little bit of a tricky one, because if they're saying, no, I'm fine to the physio, the physio say no, at what point do they say no? In this case, she looked in so much pain and went down, and I'm pretty sure that, I know I did, and probably everyone watching just had those three little letters in the back of their head going, no, please don't be. And, let's hope it isn't. But yeah, there was no real advantage in keeping her on. She was probably going to get taken off anyway within a few minutes, because that's generally what happens. And when she did come off, we actually, again, not saying it was because she came off, but we opened up the game quite a lot. Manaya Elect came and found a huge amount of space down the right-hand side. I found it a bit strange that she went back on there. And again, I don't know who's making those decisions, but sometimes you probably have to take decisions away from the player themselves.
For sure, and it makes me think of, I think this early in the season, players should be like, yes, I need to rest. But it does remind me a little bit of when Chloe Lagazzo made her Matilda's comeback. I don't know whether that was this year, and she'd been away for a really long time, and she took a knock to the head, and there's the video of her, like you can see her mouthing like, please don't take me off, please can I stay on the field, I've worked so hard to get here for this. And they made the right decision to take her off. You just can't risk it with a head knock like that. But yeah, it being so early in the season, I don't understand why you risk that, especially with a key player who can just turn a game. Any more comments on that game particularly?
I think we were, again, and I've probably said this in the last game, I felt our weak point, if we had one, apart from missing the chances up front, was possibly our midfield. I don't think our midfield really controlled the game the way we probably needed them to. I don't think they were bad. I think CJ Botts, played some really nice play down the right, and Jale, is a solid player wherever she plays, although, again, not convinced that her best position is sort of a holding midfielder like that. But I do think we're missing a player who can really control the game, control the tempo, push it around, a Longo, if you like. On the men's side, a Rufer, someone like that. And I'm guessing that's what Tessa Midaki is probably supposed to be, and she wasn't there. But we don't really have anyone else, I think, that can come in that can really orchestrate the team in the way that players like that can. And I think we missed out on that. Because as you say, Ollie, there were times that Newcastle got back on top, and we just needed to put our foot on the ball and stop them, calm down a bit, get back into our groove. Because, again, as we said, I think we were the better team, but we didn't really seem to have a player that was able to do that, to look at the game as a whole and go, okay, we need to speed it up, or we need to slow it down, or we need to push it out this way or that way. Hopefully Tessa Midak comes back, or maybe CJ Buck can grow into that role a bit more when she gets a few more minutes in as well, possibly. Charlie, I'd like to see probably further forward, because I still think she has that scoring threat, which is good. If Wynnum is out, then I would probably maybe think about putting Charlie in that position.
Any more thoughts? No. Okay. Well, again, some promising performance, just not getting the result that we need. And you are quite right. We cannot wait to get it together. A much tougher proposition this coming weekend. So that is Sunday, 23rd of November, 4 p.m. New Zealand time at Porirua Park, Melbourne Victory. Now, they, I believe, are top of the table. They have some really, really good players. Unfortunately, none of our Victory Viking friends can make it over, but it will be a great game. How are we feeling about this one? We've got the fortress, but we've also not been putting up like performances that are sort of good enough against what I want to say like lower table teams. How are we feeling about this one? Who wants to start?
It's okay, I'll start. I mean, my confidence in this game is probably has been dimmed, one, by the fact that we didn't win, disappointing, but also by the injuries, and I don't think we can make a very good decision until we know who's going to be playing. If Samba is back, then yeah, I'll say I think we'll get a win. Without Samba and that finishing that she brings, I think we might struggle, because we know Zoe McMeekan's going to score, right? Guaranteed. You might as well just put it on the score sheet now. Just start off 1-0 down. Zoe McMeekan, 0 minutes. That's going to happen. So we'll need to score 2 goals to win. And judging by what we've seen, we'll need more than 15, 16 shots to score 2 goals. So that's a bit worrying. But if Samba's on there, Samba and Nunn, then I think we do have the strength to beat them. But I'm not as confident as I maybe was a week or so ago.
Ryan?
I feel like if Wellington can capitalize early, they could get a win out of this, but I think a draw would probably be the more realistic result. I know to start the season 3 1-all draws and 4 1-all draws, if you go back to the last match of last season for Wellington women, it probably isn't exactly the result you want. But if you can get a point against Melbourne Victory, given that they look like one of the best sides currently, and I feel like they're going to be right up there. So yeah, I think a draw would be a good result in that regard.
In the 4 home games we've played them, we've had 3 draws and a loss. So I think the draw's kind of the average for us, and I'll put that as the floor for us. But I really love a win from this. I think if we can prove ourselves against Melbourne Victory, that'll give us such a good confidence boost going forward that, we can compete with every team in this league. And I think we have a good chance. Their new striker's looking pretty good. She got a hat-trick in that second game. scored in the first one. 4 goals in 3 games is pretty decent showing. So, keep her off the ball, keep McMeekin far away from anything, even though we know that she kind of is hard to keep away from anything because she's everywhere all the time, all at once. So we keep her out of the play. And yeah, I definitely think that we can get something. Very, very good crowd there at Porirua Park last week, and I think it was around 1,200 or so from what I've seen. So, get the people out there, go cheer on the Phoenix, and hopefully we can get a good win from this game.
I did notice on the TV, they're filming the TV from the other side of the pitch now. So for those of us who are watching it on TV, from what seemed to be a very, very high viewpoint, very high up, probably wasn't further away, seemed to be further away from the action than it was last season. But they did show a lot more of the crowd, and certainly their effects mics must have been close to the crowd as well, because the Yellow Fever ring, really good voice. It sounded really good on TV. In fact, it sounded louder than it looked in terms of the number of people. So that was pretty promising.
High camera angle was almost taken from a drone, would you say?
We're doing everything to make Bev feel at home.
It did make it a little bit hard to see sort of who was playing. I do appreciate them doing that. I kind of feel like they've tried to make that structure nice and sturdy. And I know that Eric Subianu, who we've had on here, can talk at length about the NPL structures that he's had to call games from in the wind. But that's not going to be fun in the wind. But I do appreciate Sky having a crack at a different camera angle. And it is nice to see the crowd in the background. I think that's something that's sort of missing a little bit for shots for some stadiums. Yeah, I think that we're going to have a really good defence against Victory. They've got, Kennedy White, you're right, she scored a hat-trick against Wanderers. Rihanna Policina of Sydney FC fame. Holly Furphy, who's young, but also a very good player. They've got a very good team. Hopefully we can get something out of it. Any final comments before we wrap up?
I just want to feel sorry for the Nepalese Momo food truck that turned up at Porirua Park and Samba wasn't playing. That's got to be like killing their profit margin, right? They must have been expecting there'd be a couple of hundred Nepalese there just loading up on their Momos, and yeah, Samba doesn't play. Disappointing for them.
Well, we'd like them to show up even when Samba isn't playing. But obviously that's kind of what happens and maybe not going to happen.
Maybe Samba can go work in the food truck while she's injured. Double their profits there.
She'd never get around to serving. They'd just be having their photos taken with her.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and especially thanks to Ryan. Ryan, do you want to let us know where, like on social media or online, we can follow Impetus, and if you'd like, where we can also follow you?
Yeah, of course. So on Twitter and Instagram, it's Impetus Football, no spaces for the social media handles, and my own social media handles. If you want to follow me or see the photo galleries or anything I do with the photos I take at matches, it's Ryan Millerwoods, all no spaces and no hyphen in it. So it's just RYAN.
Wicked. Well, give them a follow, give Impetus a follow. They do really, really good work. Thanks for joining us. Matawa.